Today I've chosen to do a different video, and we are going to edit this image in Photoshop so that I can show a bit of how I do it. So the first thing, let's open our raw image in Adobe Photoshop. So when this opens in Photoshop, it is going to open in what we call the camera raw. All right. So if you are new to Photoshop, maybe you will understand this once we start learning more on this. So this one opens in what we call the Adobe Camera Raw. So this is how our raw image looks like. It's quite good. So in here we adjust a few settings. So first of all, you can try auto to see how your image looks like, and I can see it's not bad. So maybe I can increase shadows a little bit and exposure, reduce some whites a little bit, and then do a de-enhance just a little bit, and then that's how my image looks like. Maybe exposure a little bit, shadows a little bit, highlights a little bit, and then some exposure, and that's how our image looks. So after that, we press open. I'm not using any preset in this image. I just want to show you from start how I edit my photos without any LUTs and presets. So first thing that I normally do once I open this in Photoshop, I scale it, or I crop my image to a 4:5 aspect ratio. So I'll move to crop to. I'll ensure that my aspect ratio is set to 4:5. Then I'll crop this image. Now I can leave it at content aware fill and click OK. So now our image is cropped to that aspect ratio. So I'll fill it. I'll fill these parts like that. All right. Then now, once everything is cleaned up, it is now the process of smoothing the skin. So I'll flatten this image. First, before smoothing the skin, ensure that you have removed any big pimples so that they will not give you headache when you are smoothing the skin. So duplicate your layer by hitting Ctrl J. That is what I've done. Then on the top of the layer, you can use any of these tools. I'm going to use the remove tool, and I'm going to remove these big pimples, these ones, using the remove tool. Don't try and remove everything, just remove those pimples that are a little bit big and will not make our skin look better when we retouch this. So I'll just speed up this, and after I mark all those, I'll just commit. And now Photoshop will use the sensei feature to remove those parts. Now here comes the part that I know most of you are waiting. What I normally do, I flatten my image by right clicking and then choosing right click, choose flatten image. Then I use my RA. I'll show you a frequency. I will show you another method from scratch how you can create this, but this one, let me use Retouch Academy to do my frequency separation. What is frequency separation? It is separating the skin tones or the skin from the texture. Understood? So I normally use the custom, and this figure I normally use 1 or 2. Okay, 2 there, and also 2 when it comes to Gaussian blur. And now when I open my layers right there, everything is there. So I ensure that I'm on the low frequency because that is where our skin tones are. Then I hide the high frequency texture. Then I come to my mixer brush. I ensure that these are the settings that I normally use. I ensure that clean my brush after each stroke is checked. I always use the clean brush. Okay. I ensure my weight is at 9, load at 20. Mix, you can leave it at wherever you want because you are mixing nothing. Then flow of 25. That's all my settings. Ensure that sample all layers is not checked. Now what you do, for you to use the mixer brush, you need to brush in small circles. You click and do small circles like this, and then you brush the highlights separately, the mid-tone separately, and then the shadow separately. Don't drag one to another so that you don't bleed those colors. I hope you are getting. I'm doing small circles. so that I can even out my skin tone. So for those I know ladies here understand what I'm doing. So for the ladies, if you are a lady and you are here, it's like how you blend your makeup. Very simple. Just ensure that you blend the midtones to shadows and highlights smoothly without those big bump. Right? The reason as to why we hid the texture layer, it's so that we can see what we are doing. Now, if I uncheck it, you can see how smooth our skin is. This is before and this is after. You can see how our skin now looks. So let me hide the texture. So you are brushing in small circles as you blend. So I'm just going to speed this up. So now, after taking my time to brush, this is what I achieved. Take your time to brush effectively. Ensure that your skin has blended quite nicely. The reason as to why I'm hiding texture layer is so that I can see what I'm smoothing well and which parts are being left out. So now, as you can see, the skin is very smooth. What I normally do next is that I whiten my eyes. And how do I whiten the eyes? I'll just use one of my actions. These are actions that I can give you. Just use white eyes. Okay. And then I'll take my brush. I will zoom out my brush. I will ensure that I'm painting with white. And then I'll paint these parts with white. Just like that to whiten those parts. I'll as well paint parts of the teeth. Just to make sure that we remove that layer that looks yellowish. Like that. So now that's how my white are before, after, just a little bit. Okay. Now let's see our before and after. I'm going to group that. So this is where we started and this is where we are right now. Before and after. Let me put it in full screen. Before, after, before, after. Now, after I do that, I don't want to make this video so long. I'm just going to do a few things. Like, for example, I'm going to do a dodge and burn, and I'll use my Retouch Academy, whereby I'll just come to it says glowing skin. And then I'll paint with white where I want the glow to appear. There, maybe in the face, maybe on the here, be some parts of the here. Can choose to paint almost whole of it, but I'll just choose partly that. So before, after, it gives that punch. And now the last layer that I normally do is some levels. Just do some levels or curves. Let me do levels. Just give them that punch like that, and that is what I'm getting. Okay, so that is it. Now after all, I create a stacked layer by pressing Ctrl Shift Alt E. Then I select subject. Ensure that I'm using the cloud. Select subject. Select. I'll create the layer mask. Okay, like that. Then I'll get a background. Maybe this one. put my background in there. That. Change the blending mode from normal to multiply so that I can reveal those shadows down there. So now the background is in place. Now let's say you have an image online, and maybe you may want to sample the color of that image. So now that is the image. That's the image. So let's say you are on Pinterest, and maybe you have looked on studio photo shoot. Let's say you like this photo here, and maybe you like the skin tone of this photo. So how can you transfer this one to your image? So I'll just copy the image. I'll bring it here. Now my skin is not far from this, but let's do it. So what I'll do, there are two ways. The first one, you can use curves, and the second one, you can use the gradient map. So I'm going to use the gradient maps. So I'll create a gradient map, right? Then I will choose, I have already some of my skin tones that I normally use, but I'm going to show you how you can create yours. So I'm going to click on the gradient. Okay, click, these are shadows, this is the brightest part of the image. So on this part, I'm going to sample the darkest part of the image, which is this one, maybe this one here. And before we do that, ensure that you are on the symbol here, not the mask symbol. Then click again, come here, darkest part of the image, maybe that one. Okay, then this one, it's the brightest part of the image, I believe it is that one. Click OK. Then midtones, I'll sample the skin, maybe that one. Okay, something like that. Then I'll do OK, right? As it's it. Then I'll change the blending mode from normal to soft light, overlay. Let me use soft light. Sawa. I can hide this for a little bit. Then I'll use I'll select them, invert this one. Then I'll use Control to sample this. Use my mask, use B for brush, and then paint the parts that I want my skin to be, like that. Like that. So this is before, this is after. If you feel the effect is too much, you can reduce opacity a little bit. Like that. So I feel like I need to make the saturation of this one a bit punchy. That looks good so far. Now, there we go. That is our retouched image, and this is our, so let's see before and after. And before I do that, let me do one effect. So I'll do levels, punch a little bit, punch a little bit, a little bit, a little bit, like that. This effect can affect overall image. This one looks good. All right, so let's see our before and after. So this is where we started. You can see the image, and this is where we ended at. So if you're interested in such kind of retouching and you want to learn how you can achieve that in your photos, I do have a class that is starting on 13th of January. You can register via my WhatsApp. You can see on the poster that I've just attached, whereby I'll be doing photography, videography, graphic design, and digital marketing. All these 3 courses will be separately offered. So if you choose to go with photography, you will do photography alone. If you choose to do graphic design, you will do graphic design alone. So it is time to invest in your skills come 2026. Don't be left behind. Sign up on this class so that we can get started. The price is 20,000 for those who are, and that is the introductory offer. Of course, the next one will be a bit expensive, but that is it. I'm looking for few people, so hurry up and grab the slot. Thank you, Victor, and see you on the other one.